My Hero Academia is completely finished. It has ended with the final chapter. Just as we saw the 10-year journey of Attack on Titan come to an end, My Hero Academia's 10-year journey also concluded yesterday. If you are a fan of My Hero Academia or have ever watched it, this video is for you because today we are going to discuss the final chapter, and maybe this will be the last My Hero Academia video on this channel. First, let me inform you that today, in a single video, I will cover the last 5 chapters, from chapter 426 to chapter 430, which is the final chapter. So, my friends, let's start. First of all, we see the Endeavor family problem getting resolved. We know Endeavor as a character is okay, but as a father, he is a pure failure. Endeavor could not play his role as a father properly, which is why his son had to become Dabi. Dabi's story is actually sad, and I have already made a video on his entire story. In the chapter study, we see Endeavor's whole family going to Dabi, talking to him, and Endeavor apologizing to him. Endeavor acknowledges his mistakes and repeatedly tells him that everything is fine now and they can be a family again. Endeavor also tells Dabi that he is retiring as a hero, which was his initial plan before the war started. We find out that Endeavor can't even walk by himself, and he says that the hero Endeavor, whom people knew, has burned away. He tells his son that his flame is much stronger than his own. Here, Endeavor is trying to say that Dabi has surpassed him, but even after hearing all this, Dabi doesn't react much because he feels betrayed by his father, who ruined his entire childhood. Because of his father, he suffered a lot since childhood. Endeavor tells Dabi that he will come to meet him daily, talk to him, and keep apologizing. He says Dabi can hate him as much as he wants, and he has no problem with that. Endeavor also says that anything is fine and that Dabi can take out all his anger on him. This conversation was a bit emotional because Endeavor, as a father, is apologizing to his son. We've seen in My Hero Academia that Endeavor, as a character, was very prideful and didn't want to bow down to anyone. He always wanted to be the #1 hero, but now he understands his mistakes and is ready to do anything. Along with Endeavor, his whole family talks to Dabi, including his mother. We then see that the time for their conversation is over, and they start to leave. Todoroki asks Dabi about his favorite food, but Dabi doesn't reply. As they are leaving, Dabi suddenly says soba noodles. This shows that Dabi has changed and is not the same villain we saw before. Of course, it will take some time, but Todoroki says that his favorite food is also soba. After this scenario, we see people on TV discussing Tamura Shigaraki because he was a villain, and it's normal for people to talk about him. We then see Deku and Spinner. Spinner is being interrogated, and Deku tells Spinner that Tamura asked him to deliver a message to Spinner. The message was, if Spinner survives, tell him that even to the bitter end, Tamura Shigaraki kept fighting to destroy. This was a message from Tamura to Spinner, and when Deku delivered this message, Spinner became very emotional. Spinner was surprised that Tamura specifically chose him to deliver this message, as there were many others he could have chosen. We learn more about Spinner's backstory. Spinner was always oppressed and disliked by others until Tamura came into his life, accepted him, and made him feel cared for the first time. Spinner then becomes very emotional and holds Deku, saying that Tamura Shigaraki was his hero. Spinner reveals that Tamura had no other motive or ideal. He just wanted to destroy everything. This was due to Tamura's tragic past. If you have watched the anime, you know what happened with Tamura. Spinner tells Deku that over time, all the heroes and citizens will forget about Tamura and the destruction he caused, but he will not let anyone forget. Spinner says he will write a book about Tamura so that everyone will always remember him. Deku responds that there is no need for that because he will never forget Tamura. We then see all the US students together, helping to rebuild the city, and gradually everything returns to normal. Some emotional moments follow. We see Uraraka crying because Himiko Toga died, and Uraraka blames herself for her death. This was very emotional because Uraraka was crying loudly, and Deku was there but couldn't do anything. This moment was well depicted because, along with the war, the physical pain is over, but the mental suffering continues, as we see with Endeavor and now Uraraka. After this, we see a very important scenario. A child is shown struggling, injured, and bleeding. He says that when his family found out that his quirk variation didn't match theirs, they stopped being nice to him. His entire family, dad, mom, sister, uncle, aunt, grandpa, granny, and great-granny, locked him in a room and tortured him. He was so scared and screamed so much that they gagged him. He remained trapped in that room for years. One day, he heard about a big war happening in the country, which caused their house to be half destroyed, allowing him to escape. As he ran, he saw that the outside world was full of happiness and joy. Seeing this, he wondered why he had suffered so much while others were so happy. He realized that villains are not born but made by society. At that moment, he encountered an old woman who took his hand. This is the same old woman who had ignored Tamura Shigaraki when he was a child in a similar situation, leading him to become a villain. This time, she held the boy's hand and wondered if the child she had ignored back then was saved by a hero. She had regretted not helping that child ever since, but this time, she didn't make the same mistake. This parallel was very well portrayed. The story tries to show us how a villain is born and how society creates them. Tamura Shigaraki would not have become a villain if someone had helped him in his lowest times. At the end, the boy says he is fine now because the granny is with him, saving another potential villain from being created. This parallel situation was very impactful. After all this, we see an 8-year time skip, and our Deku and all the other characters have grown up. This kid also remembers how he has grown up. After all this, we witness a new generation, similar to Midoriya and the others, attending school and aspiring to become heroes. The old characters have grown up so much, and seeing their growth made me feel really good. We see that Uraraka has grown up, and so has Erika. After the time skip, we see that Todoroki has grown up and looks great. We find out that he works day and night for the people, and everyone treats him well now. Nobody refers to him as Endeavor's son anymore. After all this, it is revealed that Deku lost his power. He lost one for all. Now, he is powerless, but even without his powers, Deku still helps people. All of Deku's friends have now become teachers. We have come a long way, right? We see a student who is very weak, just like Deku. The boy complains that everyone calls him weak and questions if he can ever become a hero. It was similar to when Deku went to All Might, but Deku motivates him by saying, "You can become a hero." Deku has really grown up, man. In the last panel, we see Deku saying, "And that's it." In the 8 years of time skip, the number of villains has drastically reduced. There are now many heroes. Society has become normal, and normal citizens help each other, even after the ending. We see some moments where All Might prepares a mech suit for Deku so that he can still work as a hero. Along with gifting the suit, we see Bakugo coming in saying, "Let's go, Deku." I really like Bakugo as a character. In the beginning, he was very different, always shouting and getting angry, but deep down, he was always a positive character and a very good friend of Deku, who stood by him till the end. Then we see that there is a lot of traffic, and orders come to call the heroes. All the heroes start going together, and at that moment, we see Deku imagining Shigaraki and feeling very happy. Seeing this, Deku was like, wow. In the last panel, we see all the heroes going to help people with big smiles. This panel is everything, bro. Seeing this panel made me feel so good. Just look at Bakugo, bro. The glow up he has gone through is amazing. Now he is a real hero, bro. So, with this panel, the chapter ends here. The 10 years of My Hero Academia journey ends here. In one video, I have covered the last 5 chapters that I hadn't covered before. Share your opinions and thoughts about My Hero Academia in the comments, as this is the last video on My Hero Academia. There will come a time when I will have to make a last video on One Piece as well, and thinking about it feels strange. If you liked the video, please like it. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, and after subscribing, click the bell icon and set it to all. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.